Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Show here. Now, before I do begin, I have been a bit busy, and I haven't really had a lot of time to write the story for this, so it did take me a bit of time. Along with that, I did go over it and proofread it, along with edit it a bit more before I actually did publish it. So, well, I do hope you guys enjoy. It was all a blur to remember, and odd to try. What happened, it was all a bit frightening. I remember my heart beating into my ears and this weird feeling, like a million billion alarms going off in my head. Then it stopped. That's what happened at the police station. I was able to stop myself from running away or flying off to try and catch my breath, but I needed to make sure everyone was safe. But I couldn't even stand. I heard someone shout, "Everyone needs to stay calm and stay together. Make sure everyone is accounted for in case the villain comes back." I was then helped up by this hero. To my surprise, it was an old classmate of mine, Shinsho Hitoshi, or as many know him today, the pro hero called the stealth hero puppeteer. He is using his quirk to get everyone to stay calm. After I was able to get up, the woman from the evidence room ran up to me and looked around the room, asking what happened. I was still out of it, staring at my hands, not moving or paying attention, and looking them over. They hurt a lot, like millions of blades in my skin. Before I knew it, she slapped me across the face and said, "Are you even paying attention to me? Did you even hear anything I said?" I snapped back to the real world and focused on her. She then stepped backwards and said, "Whoa, what happened to your eyes?" She then pulled me over to the table and flashed a flashlight into my face, and checked me out. She was a bit surprised at what she found. "Well, this is alarming. It seems your body sensors are either going into overdrive or being blocked." Now, before I could say a word, Shinsho, "Well, I got that figured out, and everything in order." As he looks at the scene, the room trashed and half lit, looking at me in only half my hero suit, and with the doctor. What the hell happened here? The doctor jumped up, fangirling, and screaming, "Oh my god, it's the number 19th stealth hero." Jeez, was I really just like that? As Shinsho would say, "What's up, Deku? And what's the situation? I thought things would be worse in here. I'm guessing you took down the villain?" Now, the doctor would say it's all a bit odd from what I saw outside. The villain they captured was screaming that something was after him, and whoever is taking people is going to target villains. That's all I know, but where did Ryan go? He was here when I left. As she would look back at me, my heart sinking as I try and remember the man, looking down at my hands. All I remember is the horror on his face, then hearing his voice clear as day asking for help and to be saved, then slipping right through my hands. Well, I don't know, but it's linked to the disappearances of multiple civilians. What, as I take a moment to compose myself, whatever it was took him as it was the same thing that all the victims have been drawing. "Doc, I don't..." Now, she cut me off. "Oh, I'm sorry, I was so excited about this case and meeting pros, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Chloe Davis, but you can just call me Chloe." As I would shake her hand, wincing a little bit, but she didn't seem to notice, still visibly excited about meeting me and Hitoshi. As we get back on topic, me explaining that this black goo thing appeared as soon as I left the room, taking Orion, but that's not the odd parts. When I walked in, I think the windows were still intact, but it basically jumped onto him, pulling him into the ground. And then when I grabbed him, it pulled me in. As it happened, I felt blistering pain, and I had Ryan by his leg. And then I was pulled out by some cops, and they said it ran off when the lights were still messing up. We're a bit confused. "How were you pulled in? one of your quirks is super strength, if I'm not wrong. A couple months ago in the latest issue of Hero Monthly, they tested the top 30 heroes' physical abilities. The hero who can do anything can actually live up to this statement. In fact, in their test, it showed that he was able to match and break nearly all of All Might's former records. So how is it this possible as Chloe stands up and starts to mutter to herself? Well, this is odd and interesting. You should ask her out, Midoriya. She seems a lot like your type. And it seems like you have a lot in common. Shinzo says, well, I'm still not so sure about it, man. Dating and being a hero is a bit complicated after what happened with Uraka. I'm not sure it's a good idea. As Chloe would snap out of it and get to work on something, running around the room and looking in some of the drawers that are knocked over, and pinning things to the wall of the room. I'm a bit confused as me and Shin would take a closer look at what she is putting up. And it would start to click in my head what she is doing. As I would start to look through the room myself, and we would begin to put all the pieces together. I would be moving and getting the boxes of case files out. And she would begin to get what she needs out of them. And after 20 minutes, she would have stopped, running over to the table and sitting down. Before she just stares at the wall in semi-darkness before she would start to mutter. I would look around and see that Shin walked out of the room some time ago. As she takes off her glasses, rubbing her eyes. This is quite bad. Me asking what's wrong. Well, I'm just throwing out a hypothesis. It is quite frightening if I'm right. This theory is why we did not find DNA, and why you, as she would look back at me, staring and blushing before she would grab her nose, saying, as she would try and compose herself, saying, and as to why your hero suit was damaged. I believe these creatures or man is breaking them down to the atomic level. And as to why you were so far underground, even though it is still intact, I don't know. But it's already bad enough, but apparently this matches up with multiple cases around the world. Now, I was a bit confused asking what her quirk was, since she was going very fast. She said she calls it hyper-intellect, or fast eyes, saying that her eyes can process information very fast, but that's only half of it. It also doubles as an intelligence quirk. Her a bit excited again before she would stop composing herself again. What she said next was horrifying to say the least. Whatever these things are, they are hunting. What are they hunting? They are hunting humanity. Alrighty, now, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And surprisingly, I think I figured out what is wrong with this microphone. Whenever I talk at a certain decibel, or the pitch of my voice gets higher, this is a all-around focus mic, so I can snap over here and it can hear it and pick it up. Meaning that it's basically catching my voice all in one spot and drowning myself out. And I'm only a few feet away from it right now. Basically, keeping my voice low. So I do think I understand my problems with it now. Anyway guys, I do hope you enjoyed.